Throughout history, people have been very interested to know who the close advisors of a leader are. Because, simply put, it becomes very easy to predict the key critical decisions of that leader. And there's something else fascinating here. I don't know if you knew this. It is very possible to finish a leader very quickly, politically and otherwise, if you somehow manage to poach his key advisor. That is why King David panicked and had to pray to Almighty God when he discovered that his key advisor, his wisest advisor, Ahithophel, had crossed over to the other side of the political divide, his own son Absalom. And so, for the sake of younger Kenyans, never underestimate the power of an advisor to the President of the Republic of Kenya. Now, we have been told by more than one source that there are 6 men who make all the Ruto decisions. And nobody has given us the identity of those 6 men. But I will shortly, at least some of them. Yeah. And I'm certain those names I'll give you will come as a shock to you. Okay? But such is the nature of politics. Surprises, surprises, shocks, shocks all over the place. I guess this is why some people are addicted to politics. This is why politics is engrossing. Now, despite what I've just said, there are some leaders, because of their leadership style, their character, etc., where the role of advisor is very different from what it is in other cases. Let me explain. And I'll do that instantly by asking a simple question and giving you the answer. Who was the advisor to Adolf Hitler, the German leader in the run-up to the Second World War? The simple answer to that question is the name of Adolf Hitler's chief advisor was Adolf Hitler. Closer to home and closer to recent times, who was the chief advisor of Kenya's third president, Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki? There are many people who believed it was John Michuki. And indeed, John Michuki was very close to Kibaki. He influenced some decisions. But the chief advisor during Mwai Kibaki's tenure was Mwai Kibaki. And that one is not very hard to prove. Because, for instance, had Mwai Kibaki only half listened to some of his very experienced and competent advisors, he'd have gotten the politics right. Because President Kibaki did a lot of great things for Kenya. But he was a miserable failure in the politics. And we cannot ignore the fact that a president of any country, the president of Kenya, is first and foremost a politician. You have to get your politics right. Because if you get your politics wrong, it hinders your achievements. It hinders your ability of being able to implement your agenda for a better Kenya. Pure and simple. And I'm sure most of you by now know where I'm going with this one. The chief advisor of President William Samoei Ruto is William Samoei Ruto. And therefore, in this instance, when we talk about his most influential advisors, we have to keep that in mind. Yeah, these people only contribute a tiny fraction, most likely in the implementation of decisions already made and already pushed through by the chief advisor, William Ruto himself. And out of the 6 we are told influence these decisions, I can only name with certainty 3. Okay, so here goes. Kipchumba Murkomen, the current CS Transport. And from this day you should know that when you hear Bwana Murkomen talking, you should know he is speaking the innermost thoughts of President Ruto. No doubt about that. The second name is a man very well known to Kenyans. Davis Chirchir. Now, there are very many disturbing facts about this Kenyan. Yeah, but today I'll just mention one. Davis Chirchir was at one time the Director of Information Technology. Oh yes, Msando's title, Chris Msando the late, of what is today the IEBC, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Yeah. And at that time, it was called the Interim Independent Electoral Commission. In other words, the groundwork of the current IEBC IT system was set up by this Kenyan. Let me just leave it at that. And the last name I'm going to give you today is going to come as a shock to most of us. But it is a Kenyan who is very well known. And that name is Dennis Ole Itumbi. According to my detailed, thorough research, these are the three men who have the most influence in the implementation and adjustment of decisions made by the Ruto presidency. Now, I highly suspect when these people talk about these six men who are most influential in the decision making of President Ruto, what they're actually referring to is the Rift Valley gang. Yeah, the people from the Rift Valley who are very close to the president and who are usually used as a sounding board of what people in the Rift Valley are saying, what people in the Rift Valley feel, what people in the Rift Valley need to be fixed, brought back to order, etc., etc. Oh, and I almost forgot. And even more important and relevant to all of us, these people are also the sounding board. The people who complain about people outside the Rift Valley who need to be fixed, who need to be brought back to order, who need to be reminded, who need to be corrected, etc., etc. I'm sure you know precisely what I mean. You know, there's something very important, a take home, that we should all take very careful note of from this Ruto arrangement. It explains why the Ruto presidency politics is all wrong. It explains why the Ruto presidency politics is not working and has brought the country to where it is today. Let's take a quick peek at the close advisors of his immediate predecessor, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And the chief reason why I want to do this, I want you to notice for yourself something missing from those who are close to Ruto that was very much visible and present in those who had President Uhuru Kenyatta's ear. Okay? One of President Uhuru Kenyatta's closest advisors right up to the end, consistently, whatever was happening politically in the country, is of course his mother, Mama Ngina Kenyatta. And in my opinion, this was a huge advantage to the former president. Because Mama Ngina Kenyatta is not only a student of history, but she was there right from independence. Indeed, right from before independence. She was there when the Jomo Kenyatta government passed through some very challenging problems and crises. She was there to see how Kenya's first president handled things, handled politicians, handled problems, etc., etc. And I'm sure this was very invaluable to President Uhuru Kenyatta. The other chief consistent advisor of former President Uhuru Kenyatta is a man called David Murathe. Now, many Kenyans don't know this. Murathe became a key advisor of President Uhuru Kenyatta as a result of strong recommendation from the president's initial chief advisor or other advisor, his mother, Mama Ngina Kenyatta. She's the one who got Uhuru to go out and look for Murathe, and bring him back into Kenyan politics, because the man had totally retired from the political scene. Murathe, of course, was a former legislator, and a very vibrant and active politician. Murathe is also a very keen student of history, because the super fascinating thing about Bwana Murathe is that he started out as an idealist. He was right at the forefront of radically calling for a better Kenya to happen radically, and as a result was one of the people who were arrested after the botched 1982 coup attempt. And his arrest, I have reason to believe, had more to do with what he had done in the past and him being set up than what he did during the botched 1982 coup. Okay? We all know President Uhuru Kenyatta's most successful advisor. We could immediately see the change in his style when this advisor came onto the scene. And of course the name of that advisor is Raila Amolo Odinga. Okay? Odinga is history. Not even a student, he is beyond a student. Not only has he been there throughout the life of this country called Kenya, he was a grown-up when Kenya attained her independence, but he too was mentored by his late father, a founding father of our great nation, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So already there you can see the contrast in advisors. And therefore it is very easy to explain the things that are going wrong in Kenya today. Now in my next video, I will take a very close look at some of the chief advisors of past presidents of Kenya. Oh, and this is super fascinating. Beyond super fascinating, I can tell you. Okay? So make sure you look out for that video. Now very quickly before I go, the truth is, history tells us, when things are chaotic, there are very many opportunities for people to change their lives. So that when the chaos are over, there is a new order of things. Those ones who did not have, those who are small, become the big people. And it's all about preparing and understanding the situation, understanding the chaos, and how you can thrive in those chaos. And this is why I'll continue to highly recommend my detailed documentary on this issue. It will help you even if you're a very experienced businessman. It will help you if you're a rookie. You don't understand what business is. You're operating on fairy tales that you've read in books. Because business is tough. It's not an easy thing. It will help all of us. Why? Because it analyzes the coming chaos and shows you where the loopholes are going to be to make a killing. Instead of complaining, locking yourself up in your bedroom and crying because you can no longer afford the school fees of your children, your dear children, you can no longer afford house rent. Don't do that. Instead, take a deep breath, understand what is going on, and leap and take advantage of the opportunities. In 2019, I was led into producing a set of videos on how to prosper in a dead economy, such as the one we're facing now. Because when things are the way they are now, uncertainty, economy, kwisha maneno, it is also a time of great opportunity. Now when I produced those videos, there was very little response from members of this channel. Okay? Things were still good then. It was difficult to see such a bleak future. It was difficult to believe whether anything like that would ever happen. But here we are now. And therefore I'm offering these videos once again. And if you're a member of my weekly intelligence briefings, you can get it at the amazing offer you see on your screens right now. The 3 sets of videos plus the 2 books, which I'm very confident will take you through what is coming. Because it is coming. Indeed, it is already here. If you're not a member, you'll have to take it at the price which was set then, which was $54. It'll still be $54. You can see details on your screens right now. I'm afraid the offer for members of WIB is very limited to 3 or 4 days, at only $13.95 or Kenya shillings 1,395. My message to you, my dear friends, because I really care, is that even if you don't take this offer, please prepare yourselves. It is terribly important that you prepare yourselves. God remember mercy for Kenya. God help the nation called Kenya. Weekly Intelligence Briefings number 109. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.